Putin doubles theory. MI6 says how to identify the fake Russian dictator. Pope urges Russia to halt strikes on Ukrainians' critical infrastructure. And Zelenskyy reports on tough energy situation in Ukraine. The latest news next. Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, according to assessments from Western experts, regularly uses look-alikes during public appearances to reduce the risk of assassination amid the war against Ukraine, reports The Sun. The use of look-alikes by Putin has become part of a strict security protocol and has long since turned into standard practice. It was stated by former head of Britain's MI6 intelligence service Richard Dialov. According to him, Ukrainian intelligence data indicating the appearance of Putin's doubles at public events is credible, and decisions on who appears before the public are made depending on the level of risk. Rising threats since the start of the war. Western analysts and officials link the tightening of security measures to Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. Ukrainian special services have repeatedly demonstrated their ability to strike targets inside Russian territory, which experts believe has increased concern within Putin's inner circle about possible attacks. He would be a drawn target for the Ukrainians as well if they could know exactly where he was when, Dialov explained. Where lookalikes are not used. According to the former MI6 chief, lookalikes are not used during diplomatic negotiations and closed meetings, as maintaining that deception at close range is extremely difficult.
The times when a body double would be used would not be in a face-to-face meeting, because it would be very, very difficult to replicate Putin when you're that close.
The situation is different at open-air public events, walks, factory visits, or stage trips, where it is impossible to fully control the surroundings. Analysis using artificial intelligence. Additional attention to the topic was drawn by a report from Japanese TBS in 2023. Using artificial intelligence technologies, experts analyzed Putin's facial features and body movements. They concluded that the real Putin was present at the May 9th parade on Red Square, while during an inspection of the Kremlin bridge almost a year earlier, his look-alike likely appeared. According to the study, the level of similarity between them was just over 50%. During one of the public events involving Putin, Russian state television aired a segment featuring a look-alike that drew attention beyond Russia. In a report on the live line, viewers were presented with a person identified as British BBC correspondent Steve Rosenberg. The real journalist was indeed present at the event, while the interview broadcast on air had been recorded with another man who merely resembled him in appearance. Western intelligence services point to an increase in covert threats from Moscow that do not involve direct military confrontation but are aimed at systematic destabilization through indirect methods of influence. According to the assessment of the new head of Britain's MI6, Blaise Matavelli, Russia is deliberately promoting beyond its borders the export of chaos, using instruments of influence to destabilize situations in other countries. Some communities in Ukraine are facing extremely difficult conditions with electricity and heating, with harsh winter weather exacerbating the challenges, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. He said that throughout the day, Ukrainian's Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko, government officials and the presidential office submit reports on the situation in the regions, with restoration efforts, electricity and heating as key topics.
There are communities where the situation, unfortunately, remains extremely difficult, particularly in parts of towns and villages in the border regions. In Kyiv, repair work is still ongoing after the strike that occurred the day before yesterday. The main task is to restore the energy supply to all homes.
Zelenskyy added that nearly 200 repair crews are working in the Kyiv region, with Ukrainian State Emergency Service also actively involved. The most challenging situation is in the cities of Brovary, Vasilkiv, Fastiv, and Boryspil, of the Kiev region. According to him, much has already been done, but many families still lack electricity. The president also said that the points of resilience have been set up across all regions of Ukraine, with forces from Zelenskyy, Naftogaz, and other Ukrainian state-owned companies involved.
Dnipro, Zaporizhzhia, Kharkiv, Donetsk regions. Everywhere our energy workers are on the ground right now, along with repair crews and all municipal services that are truly working, truly doing incredible and genuinely heroic things.
He noted that severe winter weather is exacerbating the difficulties. That is why the situation is so challenging and why Russians try to take advantage of these weather conditions. On Sunday, January 11th, Pope Leo XIV called on Russia to stop attacks on Ukrainians' energy infrastructure, highlighting the humanitarian consequences for civilians, according to a post by the Pope on X. The pontiff emphasized that the new attacks are causing significant harm to citizens, especially amid dropping temperatures and increased demand for electricity and heating.
In Ukraine, severe new attacks aimed at energy infrastructure, as the cold weather grows harsher, are taking a heavy toll on the civilian population. I pray for those who suffer and renew my appeal for an end to the violence and for renewed efforts to achieve peace.
Consistent Vatican position, the head of the Catholic Church has repeatedly spoken publicly about the war in Ukraine, regularly emphasizing the humanitarian consequences and the need to protect civilians. He stresses the importance of ending violence and seeking diplomatic ways to resolve the conflict. EU countries should consider establishing a joint armed force that could in the future replace US troops in Europe, currently numbering about 100,000, according to European Commissioner for Defense Andrius Kubilius. Speaking at a security conference in Sweden on January 11th, Kubilius said Europe must establish its own permanent European armed forces with the strength of at least 100,000 troops to better protect the continent. How will we replace the 100,000 strong American regular military forces that form the backbone of military power in Europe, he asked. In addition, Kubilius proposed creating a European Security Council. It would consist exclusively of leading European Union countries, though the possibility of including the United Kingdom is not ruled out. Such a body could significantly speed up defense-related decision-making and efforts to change the dynamics of the war in Ukraine.
The European Security Council could consist of key permanent members, as well as several members on a rotational basis, around 10 to 12 in total, whose task would be to discuss the most important defense issues.
On January 10th, Spanish Foreign Minister José Manuel Álvarez called for the creation of unified European army and integration of the EU's defense industry. In his view, this would allow the EU to act independently of third countries and strengthen its security. Meanwhile, in France, amid threats by US President Donald Trump to take Greenland from Denmark, left-wing political forces initiated a resolution calling for a gradual withdrawal from NATO. They argued that the alliance serves US interests rather than Europe's. The French government did not officially support the proposal. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.